Welcome to Winning While Budgeting with host Lavonne Smith from LTS Financial Solutions. Tonight, our topic is going to be on budgeting. The theme of this show is called Winning While Budgeting, and we'll touch on all aspects of different things from life insurance to budgets to saving for a new home or a new car or anything. But tonight's show is going to be about budgeting because that is the key foundation of having a successful financial life. The first thing we want to touch on is what is a budget? Many of us know our parents tell us save your money, save 10%, all of that. But a budget is really a plan that helps you understand how to spend your money. It's not a restriction, it's not going in jail, it's not being broke or poor. It's just a plan. And once you have a plan around your money, then you can spend and make wise decisions. It helps you to understand your financial portfolio. Now, why is a budget important? A budget is important because one, it helps you keep your eye on the prize. You know, you hear the analogy all the time. If you're going to Starbucks every day, it sounds like, oh, $4 or $5. Now it's probably $6. It's nothing daily. That's less than $10. But when you do that over 30 days and then you do that over a 12-month period, that ends up being thousands of dollars. So a budget helps you keep an eye on how you're spending, and then it lets you kind of monitor and make sense of what you're doing with your money instead of frivolously not being aware of what's going on. It helps you build a happy future. You don't just spend, but then you can plan on how you're going to spend, how you're going to save, how you're going to invest, and you make your money do what you want it to do instead of letting it be however the coins fall. Next, it prepares you for life when it happens. And we hear that people say have an emergency fund, have a contingency fund, have something set aside for the unplanned and the unknown. A budget can help you put things aside for the unknown and make a better way just for a living. One of the key things I say is change your habits, change your life. And that's what a budget can help you to do. It can help you to change your habits so that you can start having a more successful financial life. Finances is one of the areas that people talk about the most. If you go to church, people say it's always on the prayer list. If you don't go to church, it's always on the complaint list of those people around on jobs. People are always pushing for more and more and more money because we love to consume. So a budget helps you to be aware of what you are consuming. And it helps you, let me just get my notes back up here. It helps you to redefine your habits, your financial habits, so that you can have a clear, sustainable, financial, healthy life. How do we win at budget? This topic is winning at budget. Winning at budgeting. How do we win while we budget? The first thing is to start budgeting. Then, what the budget does, or be a part of the budget process, is knowing your income. How much do I actually make? Then, knowing your expenses. From what I make, how much of that do I actually spend? If your bills are higher than what you make, then you know, Houston, we have a problem. We cannot be living in the penthouse when we're not making the penthouse salary, even though that's something we like and we want. What we would have to do once we realize that our income is not enough to sustain our lives, then we have to find ways to either expand our income or decrease our expenses. Or it could be on the flip side. You have income, you have a lot of, you have your expenses minimized, but then you're using your discretionary funds not wisely because you know you have so much left over. Oh, I have $1,000 left over, $2,000 left over, so I'm just going to shop. No, we want to take that extra money that we have left over and invest it so that 1,000 could become 3,000 to become 5,000. Is called compounding interest. We want to set realistic goals. We want to make sure that we know what our plans are, that they're realistic, and there are things that we can achieve, because if you set goals so high that you can achieve them, eventually you'll become frustrated and you'll feel like I cannot do this. So your plan should be realistic. And then you want to make sure, we talked about this earlier, you want to have savings. You want to be prepared for the unplanned. When big purchases are coming up, you want to have some things set in place so that you can do it if you're looking to buy a new home, if you're looking to buy a new car, if you're even getting ready for college, or just some renovations, you want to upgrade your house or buy some new furniture. My option would always be to do cash, or some, they what they say in the store, this payment is just as good as cash. That could be a good plan, but you want to have the money available instead of doing those high interest loans and things like that. Then you want to pay off debt. If you do have more income than expenses, then your goal should be to have as little debt as possible so that you can invest in your future. Your budget should be leading to realistic goals that will lead to a healthy outcome and a strong future in your finances. Where should your money go when you set this budget? What are you looking at? You're looking at your household expenses. What are my utilities? What is my rent? What is my groceries? I call them the daily living needs. How much your food, that's how you're spending. What can you do? Which restaurants I go to that may be outside of my limit for going to. It should be more of a treat instead of a regular occurrence. I call those household expenses. That should be a core part of your budget and a core part of what you are managing based on the income that you have. Your vehicle, the insurance, the gasoline, all of that is good. You do not want to have a fancy vehicle and you cannot afford the gas for it, or you cannot afford the maintenance, the oil changes, the tires, the windshield wipers. I've come to learn over time those things are reoccurring expenses for your vehicle and should be included as a part of your household daily living uh, budget plan. It should not be a random, oh, I know I'm going to have to change tires coming up, and then you don't have the money and you're swiping your credit card for it. You should be have a plan, even if it's $50, $100 a month based on the type of vehicle you have, that goes along with your maintenance schedule. Next, savings. You should plan for what you want and prepare for the unexpected. We should not have so much, what do we call them? Thrill purchases. It's okay every now and again to have some thrill purchases, but most of our more realistic, more big purchases should be planned, and we should be preparing for what we're planning to purchase. Furniture, we talked about that. Even if you need to upgrade your wardrobe, clothing can be expensive if you like nice quality things, or even if you like to have multiple pieces. There's a plan or there's a way to budget for that. In my budget, I always have a clothing line because I know I work in an office, so I need to make sure I can buy a blazer in the winter or change into a summer or spring dress, and just kind of keep little staple pieces in my wardrobes updated so that I could look professional all the time. That should be a part of your budget. People don't think that it should be, but it should be a part of your budget. Insurance. That's a topic that people don't like to think about, but insurance is important in your financial life. It helps to cover major expenses, not just medical insurance, but you should have good vehicle insurance, you should have good home insurance, and you should have good life insurance. I believe that that is so important that that is going to be its own episode coming up on the Winning While Budgeting channel and on LTS as a part of the LTS Financial Solutions educational portfolio, because people don't have enough insurance and it leads them into trouble. If you don't have good medical insurance, you could end up with a large bill from one expense. I have pretty decent medical insurance, and my son got sick one year, and the bills from that was still like, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me that even with insurance, I end up with $1,000 bill from the emergency room? And that was saying that they paid almost 90% of the bill. So having good medical insurance, if you get into a car accident, you want to make sure you have gap insurance and the things that's needed to pay your vehicle off if it's total, or to repair your vehicle, and that you can afford the deductible that comes along with it. Retirement. A retirement plan should be a part of your budget. You should be funneling money from the minute you start earning into your retirement plan so that you can maintain the caliber of life that you're used to even when you are no longer working. You do not want to be 70 years old and having food instability or not able to maintain the level of lifestyle because you failed to plan when you had income. That is why a budget is important so that you can make healthy decisions for your financial future. It's not just only for today. And remember, inflation eats away at the value of your money. So you need to be kind of increasing some of the savings that you put, increasing some of the funding that you're sending to retirement as you realize the change in the cost of living. Next, we want to talk about, let me see my notes here, how to manage and have good, healthy spending habits. One, people who have wise spending habits, they plan and they budget wisely. They live within their means. That is a key factor to being financially secure and winning while budgeting is living within your means, not trying to be fancy when you can't afford to be fancy, or not trying to do things that you know are outside of your financial element just to fit in or just to go with the crowd or just even for self satisfaction. Sometimes we use things to feed a low place in our life. It's better to deal with your emotions, to deal with what you're going through without using external things. It's called peace, and the things does not bring peace. And then another source, if you do know that you're big and fancy and you like to live large, have additional income sources, have multiple streams of income. That side hustle should kick in. To manage your budget well or your finances well, set some rules and set some boundaries. That is a key to winning while budgeting. Have some boundaries. There are a couple of options you could choose. You can have the 30-day rule, the 10-day rule, the 15-day rule, which means that I give myself a set amount of time to think about something before I buy it over a certain amount of money. So if I say my limit is $50 based on my budget plan, if this costs me more than $50, I'm going to think about it for 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, 30 days before I make the purchase. If I'm 30 days later, I still want it, I still have the $50 set aside for it, and it's still there, I go and buy it and I can feel at peace with that purchase. There's also a 50-20-30 rule, which means 50% of my income is for my essentials, 20% I save, and then the other 30% I spend. 50-20-20, the other 20% I spend, sorry. That way I know I have my bills paid, I know I have something saved, and then this is just my fluff money. I could spend it however I want. When it's gone, it's gone. And then I know I still have things in its proper place. Or the 80-20 rule. 80% is on spending, 20% is on savings, and you have less restrictions, less limitations, but you have put some money aside for savings and retirement and things like that. It's whatever makes you comfortable, because again, your budget should not be restrictive. It should not make you feel anxious. It should not stress you out, but it should be something that actually gives you some freedom, because you now know how you're spending. You're not going to be worried about overdraft fees at the bank or declining at the store. You know what you have, and you are informing your money on what to do and how to work for you, instead of it is what it is. In no area of life, it is what it is really works. We should be intentional in every area of our lives about how we want the outcome of our lives to look like. So we should have a plan today for our finances where we can reap the benefits later. That's how winning while budgeting is going to be beneficial for your life. You're planning now for your future. You should follow your plan. Pay off your debt. Maintain good credit. How often sometimes people say they don't care about their credit, they let it do all kind of stuff. Credit is an essential component of winning while budgeting. It determines your interest rates, it determines the kind of place you can rent, the kind of home you can buy. It determines nowadays a lot of different factors, sometimes even the type of employment that you can have. So you should aim to have good credit. And how do you have good credit? You pay your bills on time. How do you make sure you can always pay your bills on time? You have a good financial plan called a budget. And a part of your budget is knowing your income and knowing your expenses. And when that all works together and you are responsible with your money, it leads to good credit. Save, 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 save. We should not always be spending, 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 but we should also have savings as a part of our financial habits. And then invest in your extra funds. We know we have that all the time, but investing is one of the key ways to building wealth. Stocks, bonds, things that have compounding interest, things that have a return, a steady rate of interest flowing back to you instead of paying high interest to debt. You look for high interest payments on your savings account, and that will lead to generational wealth. Those are just some of the keys to success. Let me say it a little bit more slower. The keys to your financial success, or what we will call winning while budgeting, is following your plan, paying off your debt, maintaining good credit, saving, preparing for your future, which is some oftentimes called retirement or a nest egg, and investing any extra funds that you have that will be able to take your regular savings and turn it into a compounded level of income. You do those little steps, and before long, you will realize that you have a healthy financial life. So, some keys to do and implement that are healthy habits is stop living paycheck to paycheck. Start to try to plan that I don't spend every dollar that I have, but I have some set aside for savings. I have some set aside for unknown. I have some set aside for retirement. And that could be hard and challenging, especially with the way that the cost of living is going now. But what we should be thinking of is ways that we can grow our income. Maybe that'll be another episode. Ways to multiply your income stream, have multiple streams of income, whether it's from now there's options like Uber, there's options like door dashing, there's things that you could do that still gives you flexibility in making your own schedule. Save at least 3 months worth of pay. We talked about saving for the unknown, but we have 5 months, 6 months. I say let's start with 1 month, build up to three, and then as you go along, you could build up to 5 or 6 months worth of savings of your paycheck so that in the event anything happens, you're not completely down to nothing because you failed to plan, you failed to save, and you failed to prepare. Always save the maximum and stay consistent. Consistency is going to be a key factor in remaining healthy and winning at budgeting. You may fall. There may be some times where you don't get it exactly right. But if you stay consistent, if you look at your plan, you redo it, and you try again, and you're always putting in the work, you will see the payoff. That goes for anything: weight loss, finances, your marriage, your relationships. If you are consistent doing the good, healthy things, the outcome could only be a healthy, positive outcome. On the flip side, if you're consistent with spending, you're consistent with not knowing your income, not knowing your expenses, and just going along with the wind, you can expect a negative outcome. So, whatever we're consistent with, that is what the outcome will align with. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at ltsfinancialsolutions@gmail.com. I know that's long. ltsfinancialsolutions@gmail.com, or you could find our page on IG. It's LTS Financial Solutions. You could find me on IG, Lavonne Smith. It's tied with one of my other business streams or ministerial streams. It's Lavonne Smith _ into the deep. But just find me somewhere and email me or tag it in the comments here, and we will check them and we will respond to you. Or you can go to our website, ltsfinancialsolutions.com, and put questions there or set up an appointment for us to consult and realign your income with a budget plan that will be successful for you. Success is individual. Your budget should be individual and it should be tied to the level that you are comfortable with. But one of the key things to remember is start somewhere. It's never too late to start. You're never too young. You're never too old. You're never in the hole too deep. Even if you are in debt, you can start with a plan to find a way to build your way out, but it will require some effort. It will require you to change some habits. It will require some pulling in the belt so that you can, let's just say it like this, it will require some work, but if you put in the work, you will see the results. I am looking forward to being a partner with you in your financial success. Look for more episodes. Look on our page for hints and suggestions on having a healthy financial plan, and look for upcoming seminars or sessions where we can work together to do something that leads to a healthy financial life. My name is Lavonne Smith. I am a certified management accountant. I love working on budgets. I love to see people financially successful. I want to partner with you. That's why our business is called LTS Financial Solutions. We come up with the solutions for our clientele that helps make their financial life much, much better. So like and subscribe to 100 TV, where this show will be aired. Like and subscribe on our IG page, LTS Financial Solutions. And we are recently we're building our TikTok page. So go and follow that, and then look for new and upcoming reels on there for how you can be successful and win while budgeting. Thank you for joining the show, Winning While Budgeting, hosted on 100 TV.